Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? Now, this is a new segment that we started maybe a year and a half ago, where we take all the questions that you ask that you can send to us at Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com, and we usually take the most popular ones and answer them on this platform. So many questions have been coming in, and one that people have been asking me on and off about was if I could explain exactly what ancestral curses are. But before I go into that, special shout out to my Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform. And special shout out to everyone that has subscribed, beloveds. I know the numbers are going up. I absolutely love it. We will be relaunching our main channel, Dr. Mumbi Show, very soon. So make sure that you're also subscribed there. So ancestral curses, what are they? And what do they look like? What do they manifest as physically? Because I have to re-emphasize and restate that we are mental and spiritual beings having this human experience. And so a lot happens in the mental and the spiritual realm. And for many of us who have been here several times, many call us the ancient ones, others call us the ancestors, others call us, the chosen ones. We come in looking for certain, and even new souls that are coming here, although there's fewer new soul stories for other days. But we come looking for certain energetic signatures that will allow us to come in with with certain powers and gifts that we will be able to use, because you almost look for the bloodlines. And so if you're a high level seer, or you would look for those prophetic tendencies in both the mother's bloodline and the father's bloodline, and then of course you want to choose maybe an ancient bloodline where you can even pick up more gifts from that, because you see, we inherit ancestral blessings, but we also take on ancestral curses. And sometimes we're coming in for the ancient bloodlines, but we have to, take on the recent ancestral curses. Now, ancestral curses that many people know about are physical ailments like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and they'll tell you these are passed on. They'll ask you, did your paternal or maternal grandparents or parents have these? When you go to the doctor, people still do that. But so these are like the diabetes, the high blood pressure, also mental illnesses like Alzheimer's, like dementia. All of these are inherited. They say narcissism is a mental illness. I think they just allow the narcissist to get away with bad behavior. But all of these are physical manifestations of ancestral curses that many people come in. And what it means is that those are energetic signatures, like because we pick things mentally and spiritually first, and then it manifests physically. And so we're always crafting our life based on what we have. And bloodlines are so important because it determines what we can come in with and what we have to work with in terms of this body, how much we can stretch this body to to allow our highest vibrational selves to come and dwell here, things like that. I was just hearing something, beloveds, like a serpent. Stories for other days. So it's extremely important for us to recognize that the ancestral curses are energetic signatures that we pick up as we're picking up many other things. And many times we have come here, like for myself, for example, maybe I came here for more, for the gifts and talents of more ancient bloodlines in my bloodline. But the recent grandparents had diabetes, had high blood pressure, had cholesterol. And so those were things that I had to contend with, which means that I was predisposed to them. But it shows that those were kind of the energetic and mental signatures that I picked up. And so I will be predisposed to being that. And I'm making this so physical, but you have to also see it spiritually, because we focus so much on the physical ancestral curses, but there's also those spiritual ancestral curses that we are here to overcome, beloveds, and to kind of help to clean the bloodline and to set off a new stem, a new branch in that bloodline that is free of, these certain blocks, these certain limitations, or, literally curses. So some of the spiritual curses are barrenness. Sometimes the women in a particular family will be cursed to barrenness because of, the the games that were played when with at their great grandmother's level or their great great grandmother's level, like, because you see, so many of us really have forgotten just how much of an occult world we live in. And it's those who are doing the occult in secret that are actually running their families, running their communities, running governments, being entrusted with leadership positions because they understand the witchcraft, the sorcery, the magic, both positive and negative, that are at play for everything that we see here. And so other spiritual ancestral curses, maybe we, we come from a bloodline of high level wizards and witches, or high level, healers, but they were persecuted terribly in their time, and so that knowledge was locked up in the blood. And so we're here to unlock that, not only for us, but to be able to use in this lifetime in these critical times, but also for future generations. And because now we've come online with our ancestors and the ancient ones and our spirit, whatever our spiritual team looks like, our guardian angels, our spirit guides, because we've come online with them, we can now ask them to reveal certain ancestral curses that have locked up certain ancestral blessings that we, because of the spiritual work that we're doing in our own lives, can now tap into and have access to. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, beloveds, to Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. Today we're talking about what exactly are ancestral curses. You see, we have to stop seeing ourselves so physically and see everything, our birth, as a physical birth and everything like that. We have to start realizing that everything starts mentally, and even before we come here, that we draw out this life. We select our parents, which is why if you're still believing that God or Jesus or some random person chose your parents, then you're even disempowering yourself. You probably should just click off this video right now. But so we choose certain energy signatures that we think will help us on our mission here, because we all have a mission, especially at such a time as this. And with that, it's like you'll get what you want, but sometimes you'll also get some cons, which they call the ancestral curses. And it's very important to know what these ancestral curses are, because because it's old programming that you've inherited, it can sometimes play out in the background and affect you without you even knowing about it, without you even knowing it's a thing. But many of us agreed to come through particular bloodlines because we wanted certain gifts, talents, powers from the ancient ones in that bloodline, and in return we came to clean up the modern bloodline, if I can put it like that. So it's really important to identify what some of the ancestral curses are. And you can do it simply by, some of them are obvious. If there's a prevalence of, as I mentioned, the high blood pressures of this world, certain diseases, certain mental illnesses where your grandmama had Alzheimer's, your grandmama was a bit forgetful, your mama, has lost her memory at 50, and you're now wondering what's going to happen. And a lot of these things can be reversed, even though they say that you must inherit them, but it's all about diet, vibrating higher, etc., to kind of counteract it before they come into play in your life. But so these signatures are the things that you've inherited that are kind of playing back in the background and pulling you towards certain lifestyles, certain habits, etc. So if you come from a family where alcoholism was very prevalent, that energy signature which you've inherited, which is in the mental space, like the things that you can pull out, your mental library, if I can put it like that, will be playing out. And so you will feel a little thirsty, you'll be more inclined to really pursue that life. And it may be fun, but you'll be more predisposed to take it too far and maybe entrap yourself in it. So it's really important to know what the ancestral curses could be that are impacting your life. So one of them is to just look at the patterns. And so observation is so huge. That's what I would say is the second one. observations of what are the general things that, you know, your mama, her sisters are suffering from, or your father and his brothers, or just the whole family, the things that they're constantly dealing with. Could it be relationship issues where, you know, either no, everyone's a single something, no one's married, although marriage is anyway, let me not get into that, is a foreign institution, but still there is partnerships. Why don't the partnership dynamics work in your family? Looking at those kind of things will help you to see. You can also look at lack. Things like poverty, those are also inherited ideas and concepts that can be playing in the background and kind of pushing you into a similar lack reality. You know, if you come from the Fire Nation, things like extreme anger, because you're usually born into the nation that you're from. Or you have to have, if you're an avatar, you have to have that, the signature of that. So if you're like fire is anger, like that quick anger. So there may be certain characteristics that kind of disempower you, that are part of that ancestral curses. And I think as you continue to refine yourself and work on yourself, then those ancestral curses come more into the forefront to be healed and resolved. And the way to heal and resolve them is to just say, this stops with me. And you know, we fail to recognize how much power our attention has. Like when you focus on something, that alone shifts that and the energy of that thing. When you focus on it and you see the truth of it, like just by seeing it and saying this is a, you know, ancestral curse, that alone will now, your mind will naturally move into solutions, how to get rid of this. You'll start to get all kinds of information just coming to you related around this. And the third thing is you can meditate, you can ask, you can pray, you can ask the Most High, you can ask your ancestors, and especially your ancestors, to show you some of the ancestral curses that may now be coming into play in your life, that may be trying to trip you up, that you can overcome so that your children don't have to deal with it. Until next time, tuko pamoja.